Hi, welcome to my part 2 tutorial of 8-note diatonic patterns for guitar improvisation. So I'm just going to start off right at the top of the page with the D7th chord. I'll also include a link to the part 1 so you can refer back to those patterns if need be. All right, so today I'm going to be playing a little different kind of tone. I'm going to be playing a more rock tone with an expandora and a black heart 1-watt amplifier. And then I'll be kind of just maybe jamming a little bit more in like a kind of a rock fusion style. Okay, so just refer to the PDF is available for a download. Just look in the description below the video. Okay, first pattern on the PDF. So the whole idea of this is I was trying to come up with these kind of licks, kind of 8-note patterns that I could use for my own improvisation. So the first pattern again, second pattern, third pattern, and then fourth pattern. And I'll just talk briefly about the strategy here. So if you think of a D7 chord or a D9 chord, so the notes on the beginnings and the ends of these patterns are the root, third, fifth, and flatted seventh of the D7th chord. So whenever you end one of these patterns, you'll be landing on a good chord tone. Okay, I think what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and put on a jam. So I have a jam track that I made a number of years ago. It's just a D7 vamp, kind of a slow vamp. So I'm just going to go ahead and just improvise through these patterns. I'll kind of use the pattern. I'll tell you what pattern I'm using, and then I'll kind of embellish the ends of the phrases. Okay, here goes the first example here. I'll let you listen to the track. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. And so on. So there's a lot of different things you can do there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those patterns and just move them across to these two strings. So I talk a lot about this in my video. So I think this is a really good way of organizing the guitar. So whatever you play on the middle two strings, you can move exactly the same on the bottom two strings and on the top two strings. So I think that's a really, really useful thing. So if you go here, you can also play here. That'd be an interesting thing for two guitar players to do in a band. So one guitar player can go, and then the other guitar player can go, and so on. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the patterns. I'm going to play through the patterns from the PDF. First pattern, octave higher. Second pattern. Third pattern. And then fourth pattern. Right, so then you have this sort of convenient, not convenient, but so you have a dominant seventh arpeggio there. Kind of an interesting sound. So I'll do the same thing here. I'll put the track back on. I guess I'll put it back to the beginning here in case I get a little long-winded here. And then I'll just improvise around each of these patterns, and I'll say which pattern I'm using. Okay, here it goes. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. Okay, you get the idea there. So let's see if there's anything else I wanted to do with this particular concept. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's good on the D. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So the other thing I didn't talk about in the first section is kind of these almost like chord substitutions or scale substitutions. So if you look to the third chord on the PDF, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord is kind of a natural substitution for either the D7 or the D9 chord. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play over this D7 track, but I'll use the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 patterns. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you're going to have the flat. You're going to start flat at 7, the 9, the third, and the fifth. Okay, so I'll play through the patterns here. The first pattern, second pattern. Yeah, so notice I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm just playing everything with the downstroke just to kind of get the pattern under my fingers and get the picking nice and clean. Okay, third pattern. And then fourth pattern. All right, so that should sound pretty interesting whenever I land on those ninths. Okay, so I'll improvise around there. Same idea. I'll use the basic patterns and I'll kind of embellish it with bends, slides, or whatever, or pinch harmonics, or whatever seems like it's working here. Because I am using the expander. Right now, the expander, I have the gain all the way up, a tone all the way down, and it looks like the level is about like 10 o'clock. And then I think the amp I'm using here I have about halfway. You can see what happens here with these patterns. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. Kind of an interesting sound there. Okay, let me do a quick change, just a quick tuning here as I'm doing some bending here. That sounds pretty. Okay, I think I'm pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to take those F sharp minor 7 flat 5 scale patterns, and I'm just going to move them up the octave. So the first one, landing on the third, second one, landing on the fifth of the D or a D7, D9, third pattern, landing on the flat 7, and then landing on the E or the 9. Yeah. So I'm kind of purposely kind of changing up the fingering. So I'm not using just the strict fingering. So particularly if I want to do a vibrato, I feel like I can do a little better vibrato with the second and third finger rather than the fourth finger. Okay, so this will be improvising with the D7 backing track using F sharp minor 7 flat 5, these patterns that I have written out here. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. Got a nice note at the end on there. Okay, so that was the D7 track. So once again, if you look at these patterns that I have here, so your ending and beginning and ending of each of the measures is the arpeggio that's listed there. Let's just see what happens. It's just for giggles. I'm just going to play that F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. I'll play it here. And then I'll play it here. I just play it a couple of times over the track before I go on to the next principle. Okay, so you get the idea of that. I switched my pickup, and then I also threw in kind of a blues cliche. So that's kind of an interesting way of doing it. So rather than going, which would be minor pentatonic, flat 5. All right, so let's. I'm going to switch over to an E minor track now. So this will be for the second line, E minor 7th. So what's going to happen here once I get into the jam section, I'm going to be playing over an E minor 7th to an A minor 7th. So what's going to happen is harmonically we're going to have the E minor 7th arpeggio notes for the E minor 7th and for the A minor 7th. So we should get some pretty interesting color tones. Okay, so I'm going to go first pattern. This is the E minor 7th. Second pattern, third pattern, and then fourth pattern. Okay, so I'll do the same thing, E minor 7th to A minor 7th. I'll let you listen to the track one time to kind of hear the harmonies. So what I might do here is when I'm playing over the E minor 7th, I'll go ahead and land on the notes of the patterns. What I might do for the when I'm on the A minor, sometimes I might land on the note, and I might, like for example here, I might kind of bend up to that C note there on the A minor 7. Okay, we'll kind of see what happens here. So you got E minor 7, and then A minor 7. Okay, first pattern. Works good on both chords. Second pattern. Works good there. Third pattern. This time I'll just land on the B. Interesting. Fourth pattern. That sounds like maybe wants to resolve. So obviously you can go on and on with these concepts. So let's go now. Let's kind of move it up the octave. So once again, I think this is a really, really useful way of organizing the guitar, to think of it in terms of 2-string groupings. So anything you play on the middle 2 strings, you can play on the top 2 strings, and on the bottom 2 strings. So that's a good way to do. Sorry, I do a little tangent here. What's that Foghat song? I just want to make love to you. So, so one guitar goes, and then the guitar goes. So you can kind of mess around with that. All right, so let's go. So E minor 7. This is the first pattern, moved up an octave. Change my tone here. Second pattern. Third pattern, and then fourth pattern. Okay, so I'll play that with the backing track. Maybe I'll go back to here so I can maybe do some pinch harmonics perhaps. And then I think what I'll do here, just to spice it up a little bit, so I'll do the pattern, and then I'll kind of maybe throw in some kind of E minor pentatonic cliches, and just kind of see what happens as a to make this more interesting. Okay, here it goes. Okay, here's the A minor 7. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. Okay, so that's just a couple ideas on this E minor 7th to A minor 7th. Okay, let's maybe do kind of a similar concept here that I did with the D7 to F sharp minor 7. So if we go up to let's see, where do we want to go here? Yeah, let's just go up a third. So we're going to go up to this G pattern. So this is the last pattern on the Actually, no. Let's go down to here. This was the very first pattern from the previous video. So the outer portions of this pattern are a G major 7th arpeggio. So I'll be playing kind of this. I'll be landing on notes of either a G major 7th, which is what works really well in the E minor 7th, or G major 7th for the F sharp for the A minor 7th. So I guess the most interesting note is going to be this F sharp note. So we'll see what happens here. And I think I'll change my tone again. I'm going to go to. Okay, I'm not going to bother go through the patterns again. This is on the first page of the PDF from the previous video. So E minor 7 to A minor 7. I'll let the chords come by one more time, and just like I did on the D7, I played the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 patterns over the D7 chord. Here I'm going to play G major 7 patterns over the E minor 7th to A minor 7. We'll see what happens here. E minor, A minor 7. Okay, first pattern. Up the octave. Okay, second pattern. Up the octave. Third pattern. Up the octave. Fourth pattern. Kind of an interesting note there. Okay, so you get the idea with that. So that's E minor 7 to A minor 7, and I'm just using the G major 7. Kind of a hard stretch. So let me just do the same thing here. So I'll take this pattern here, and I'll move that up an octave. Maybe I'll change my tone up a little bit throatier sound. So let's see what happens here. I'm just going to just play around with this E minor 7th, A minor 7th, with the different patterns and kind of see what happens. And I might mess with my tones a little bit too. first pattern. Second pattern. It's kind of nice there. Third pattern. That's the fourth pattern. Okay, so that's the E minor to A minor. So I think I'll do one more progression here before I end off this video. So the very last diagram on the page is the G major 7th one. So I'll just go through those briefly. So that's just octave higher than the ones I was doing here. And I'll play this over a G major 7th to C major 7th. So what'll happen here, so we're playing basically that G major 7th arpeggio. So the G, B, G and B are in both chords. The D will be the 5th of the G major 7th, and then it'll be the 9 of the C major 7th, and then that F sharp is going to be the most interesting note. That'll be the 7th of the G, and then it'll be the sharp 11 of the C. So we'll kind of see what that sounds like. I'll go through these patterns briefly. So first pattern, this is the G major 7th. Second pattern. Third pattern. And then fourth pattern. I'll switch my tone back. Okay, so I'll just do some improvising around this. First pattern. Second pattern. Third pattern. Fourth pattern. Okay, so G major 7th to C major 7th. All right, I think what I'll do to end off today is I'm going to go back to the D7 track. So I think when I first came up with this track, I was thinking kind of the solo of a Goodbye Pork Pie Hat by Jeff Beck. So I can do this last jam as kind of a little tribute to Jeff Beck, Beckola, Blow by Blow. We listened to a lot of those songs in the 70s, those albums in the 70s, the vinyl albums back in the day and in college, the Blow by Blow, Wired, and then Beckola. Those are great albums. With Rod Stewart. I was listening to some of those the other day, and that's kind of what it got inspired. I pulled out the Expandor, and I was playing along with some of those old records. Truth, some of those. with Jimmy Page on the 12-string, kind of fun to listen to. So I guess going to see what happens here. I'll use the D7 patterns, the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 patterns, and I'll just play over this. Maybe this is a kind of a short track, maybe a couple times, and just kind of see what happens here. So thanks for listening and watching, and have fun with these concepts, and use them in your own playing. These would work great, for jazz, rock. I guess even for metal. I'm not much of a metal player, but have some fun with those. Okay, here he goes.